Hello, stamping friends. This is Jenny from Celebrate the Journey, and it's Monday, and it's time for a Facebook Live. For some reason, I've touched the wrong thing on my computer, and I don't know what's going on, but that's okay. Leave me a thumbs up if you can see me or hear me, and we'll just go from there. So I posted a little graphic today. There we go. Let's see. That asked, what kind of stamper are you? Stampin' Up! Likes to call us simple stampers or beginning stampers, casual stamper, or an avid stamper. So a simple stamper might be somebody that hasn't stamped for very long, doesn't own a whole bunch of supplies, just has a few things. And then a casual stamper, you have a little more. You've invested in some, maybe a cut and emboss machine and some fancier stamps and prettier papers. And then there's the avid stamper where you own everything. You own more stuff than you could ever use in your lifetime. And there's nothing wrong with being one or the other, because all of those levels have a place in the stamping community. So we're going to use Seaside Bay, the bundle. So I think it's called By the Seashore or something bundle. It has the matching dies that go with it and the stamps. Now, a simple stamper would not buy the dies. They would just buy the stamps, maybe. And remember, a simple stamper doesn't own a ton of supplies. Then we're on one card, we're going to go to greetings. If you haven't purchased this one yet, you haven't been listening to me, because I use it for everything. It's just a great go-to set. And then one of the sentiments, sending hope and peace, is from the ginkgo stamp set. So those would be for people that own quite a few stamps. But the beginning stamper just owns this one. So that's the one we're going to use today. These little birds are cute, the little crab. There's a shell with a pearl and another larger bird, and some nice sentiments. Now, along with this suite, it has matching paper, and I happen to have a little of it left, so I thought we'd use some of it up. It's really pretty, oceany colors, beachy colors. You can use it for lots of things. We're always looking for masculine card ideas. This paper here would definitely make a good masculine card. Pair it with this one. So lots of choices there. So let's see what we've got. We are starting with, a Night of Navy card base, just the 8.5 by 5.5, and scored at 4 1/4. And then I have cut a piece of crumb cake for a border and the designer series paper. That's all we need for this card. And we're going to do a little sneak peek here with this, because I thought that the birds, we're going to put birds on here, would look really pretty with the new Pebbled Path color. It's a neutral, It's a little darker than crumb cake and not as harsh as black. So I think birds would be great. Hi, Anne. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining me today. So this is simple stamping. So we've got these 3 little birds, and they're just going to be walking down the beach. It was funny when I was looking at this, I thought, I have to remember he can't be up in the sky walking in the air. He's got to be like on the line of the beach. It's kind of hard to think about that, you know. We don't think about him. If it was a flying bird, that would be fine, but he's walking, so we wanted him to be on the water there. Definitely. We'll clean this off. Now I'm stamping before I put the layers together, just in case I mess it up. I won't have wasted my layers. Now we're going to use the sentiment that's from this set, Heartfelt Sympathy. That's a perfect little sentiment that fits right there, and we're going to do that with Night of Navy. If you're here watching today, leave me a comment or a thumbs up so I'll know you're here. And I appreciate it if you are. If you don't own lots of colors and you're a beginner, you could stamp that in black. It would certainly be fine. Now we'll layer that on our crumb cake. It kind of picks up the color there. I kind of looked at using purple, but then I thought that was just too happy of a color for a sympathy card, I think. But you might like that. I don't. It's a hard call there. That's one thing I miss is beginning stamping classes. I would love to have some new stampers. Maybe I can find some in our neighborhood. It's always so much fun to teach people the new skills. So this is our card. I mean, how easy can this be? And it's still a very, very pretty card. Now on the inside, I just have a piece of basic white, and then when you cut that cover piece, front piece, you have a little bit left over there. So we're going to stamp a shell on it. We'll use Pebbled Path again. And this seashell will fit. This is 1 inch. And that will just dress it up a little bit on the inside. Trying to do pretty good about cleaning my stamps because honestly I get ink everywhere. And I tend to lay my cards on top of the stamp, and then I'm sorry I've messed up my card. Now if you have an inside sentiment, you can add one, or you can just write a message to the person that's getting the card. But as a beginning stamper, you might not own lots and lots of sentiments. I always say invest in some good words, because you'll use them for years. Now, even though this is a beginning card, and it is very, very pretty, if you happen to have some of the sea glass, I think that would certainly be fine to add that. But I wouldn't add much more. We want to keep this simple. I don't think you want bling of any sort or Wink of Stella. You just want a soft, sweet card. I did try this on Balmy Blue, and it is pretty, but I like the Night of Navy the best. I just wasn't sure which one well, as long as I've got the paper, I can give that a try. Which one do you like? In the Balmy Blue or the Night of Navy? I don't know. I guess this is a little more masculine, this is a little more feminine, and both work. So that is our beginning stamper card. Now our casual stamper has probably bought a cut and emboss machine, a few more stamps, a few more supplies. So we're going to switch color palettes and make a birthday card. This is still the paper from that bundle, and it goes really well with Petal Pink. And luckily Petal Pink and Pool Party are returning. It's fine, Sandy. You know, you don't have to be on time, and you can always watch the replay, so that's fine too. Hi, Tricia. Thanks for joining us today. I don't like fussy sympathy cards. I like simple. So even though I do own everything in the world, I can still make some simple cards. Okay, here we've got this. Now we're going to emboss this. Give it a little texture with the seashell embossing folder. That's from another set, but it plays well with this one. Now, if you don't own this one, I think we had one that was Waves of the Ocean, and that would work. Just something to give it some texture. That's all. We'll run that through the cut and emboss machine. And now we have that. Isn't that pretty? Let me go in and put the plates back. It gives it really makes the gold pop there, doesn't it? And now I have just a little bit of this gold thread left. So we'll wrap it around the front of our card and tie it in a bow. Looks like that's just exactly, we have just enough. Now this particular paper also comes in darker blue and gold, so this is a little more feminine, but if you used the darker, it would be a nice masculine card. I'm going to try to tie this in a knot because it's so hard to get it tight for me. And it's thin enough that I can tie it in a knot. There we go. Kind of looked weird. Now let me see, where's my sentiment? Here we go. I have a sentiment that says birthday wishes. We're going to just stamp it on a scrap. Now this is another thing, you know, when you're a casual stamper, you have a few more supplies. You don't own everything. I thought that I could stamp this with Pool Party, but you'll see what happens. It's just not dark enough, and I like my sentiments to be dark where I can read them. But guess what? We have Lost Lagoon returning, and I think it looks fine with it. So we'll try that. This, if you wanted to use one of the sentiments from this set, that would be fine also. Not sure where this one came from, but off the top of my head, but I think that color coordinates real well there. And most casual stampers will have a few punches, and we'll see which one we want to use here. That looks pretty good. This one looks, maybe it would be a little too large. Yeah, we'll use the smaller one. If we wanted to, we could punch a Pool Party to go around it. Let's do that. So the larger one, we'll do a Pool Party. I think that's going to work. I hope that's the one. And the smaller one will do the sentiment. So now that you're a casual stamper, you're a little more confident. You can make decisions on the supplies you own. And we'll put this together. That gives it just a tiny little border. I like that. Let's clean this one off. Make sure we keep our desk kind of clean. And this one we can just add with some Tombow. And Tombow gives you that little wiggle room if you need to move things around. And we can go ahead and glue this down. Now, I sometimes have trouble tying, so I will occasionally put Scotch tape or something on the back there to keep my ribbon in place. Nobody knows it's there, so that's fine. We'll put this on with dimensionals. We can see where I put them here. Here they are. Now we'll straddle this twine, so we'll put our dimensionals at the top and the bottom. Now, as a casual stamper, we've gone shopping. We've done a fun little trips here and there. And we bought some of these heart-shaped pearls just because we thought they were beautiful. And they are. So we'll put some on our card. And I like these frosted ones today on here. I don't think these are carrying over. I looked the other day and I didn't see them in the new catalog. It doesn't mean they're not there. I haven't studied the new catalog as much as I could have, because we can't shop out of it yet, so I'm just using the things I own. I'll put it on here. Maybe another one over. Put a small one over here. I know that's 4, but I'm not counting the one on the sentiment. And we just will put an inside piece for the inside and cut our scraps. One of our scrap pieces we can cut down to decorate the inside piece. So as a casual stamper, you don't have to have tons of supplies, but you have a little more than a beginner. And I think that came out as a pretty card. A little fancier. Anybody would love to have that for their birthday, especially if they like going to the beach. Now our third card is stepped up a little bit. It is not super fancy. I won't say it's an avid out of our skill set, but it's got a little more to it than the first two. So we're going to start with the Knight of Navy, and it's folded. It's scored at 4 1/4 and 2 3/4, so that you guys know I love this layout. And then I have picked some of the Designer Series paper to layer in it with Pool Party. So we can go ahead and do that. I think anytime you can add texture to a card, it makes you look like you are Hallmark. But, you know, remember when we go to Hallmark and see all those pretty embossed cards? Well, we can make those at home with texture and glitter and all kinds of stuff. We're better than Hallmark because we make our own. Hope I don't get in trouble for saying that. Surely not. Now, I pulled this waves. It's looks like waves on there. It kind of coordinates with this paper. If you wanted it a little more masculine, you could use that side because the crumb cake is there. But we're going to go with the waves. It's always helpful if when you're designing a card or creating a card, just write your little measurements down and then transfer them to a notebook with a little sketch that you can keep up with, and you don't have to go back and recreate it every time. Just a little sketch notebook. Now we've got our main part of our card done. This is 3 by 8 and it's scored at 4, and that's going to be where our design element goes. So now we need to create that design element. I started with, this is, I'm not sure, 3 by 4? I don't think it's 3, is it? It is 3 by 4. And then this is 1/8 less. Now this must not be 3 by 4 because this is, the white's 3 by 4, so that's 1/8 less. And then this is 1/8 less of this one. Isn't that funny? We turn that over when it's the same on both sides. I do it every time. I don't know why. So this would be 3 7/8 and 2 7/8. Now, remember I said we want to do embossed again. So we're going to run this through the cut and emboss machine. And this time we're going to use Into the Clouds, because they have clouds at the beach. And we'll run that through. Embossing it just gives it that special touch. Looks like the sky. Now I'm not going to glue that down yet, because we're going to create a little beach area. In the dies here, there is this die that I guess it could create the sky, it could create the beach. We're going to let it create the beachy area. I need a piece of crumb cake. Yeah, there we go. So I've already cut a Night of Navy and a piece of Pool Party. I need to cut a piece of the crumb cake. And I want that right about there. So we'll run that through the cut and emboss machine. I'm having a hard time getting my plate lined up here. There we go. Oh yes, gold and silver are heat embossing. That means you really cared. That you took time with that card. So now we have a little bit of the beach here, and we're going to stamp Thinking of You, and that's from Go To Greetings. Of course, this could be stamped anything. There's no nothing that this would work for lots of occasions. And let's see, we're gonna stamp it right about there. It looks a little crooked. Let's turn it over. Try that again. That's gonna have to do, isn't it? Now this is going to go on here, right about there. I think I can, yeah, I think that's fine. Now we're going to go ahead and layer these, and we'll probably have to do some trimming. It's kind of hard to measure on these where you want, what size you want your die cut. We have paper snips to take care of that. want each wave a little different. So there we go. Now we can take our paper snips and trim this off. And now we can glue this on here and we'll trim that off again. Don't need to put the glue all the way to the edge this time. Now, this is not taking too long, but it is taking a little longer than our first two cards. And we will make sure that's the right direction. It is. So now we have our little beach scene, and that actually looks pretty like it is, almost. I was looking at this crumb cake. My cutting plate has scratches, and it kind of picked up on the crumb cake. It actually gives the sand a little texture. It's about time to get some new plates going there. Now we need a bird. I think we can cut that out of... I think we can do that. We're going to do that little bird, and it's going to be Night of Navy. He's distinctive, so all his feathers and plumes are going to look pretty realistic. We could have done him in just about several different colors. We could have used the new Pebbled Path. We could use Misty Moonlight. Just the colors that you own. I think we'll cut him out with the bird. If you don't own the cut and emboss machine, then you just fussy cut. You could hand cut these waves. There's always a way to create your cards without owning everything. But remember, this is an avid person. They own everything and more. Put him back in his envelope so I don't lose him. And I thought he needs a little something, so we're going to put a little bit of petal pink just around his neck ruffles. You might not be able to see that on the camera, but in real life it's there. Let's go ahead and put this. No, let's do that. We'll put the inside on here. We're going to stamp these pretty little seashells, and we're going to do that with the pool party. Since this is thinking of you, it doesn't really have to have a sentiment on the inside. It can just be where you write the message. And that's, you have lots of room for a message there. Let's clean this bird off. Now we're going to glue this down before we put all the pieces on there. So we need to figure out where we're going to put this. As long as we put it centered here, it will be centered there. Okay, now we'll hold that part down. Now our little bird's just going to go on here with Tombow. See if I can get some on his feet. It would be okay if he hangs off a little bit because it's not the edge of the card. But I think he's fine. Now I wanted to put some of the seashells there. So I cut out these. They're entirely too large. And then I was looking at the dies and saw that there's a small set of seashells. Or I could even put some of the sea grass. I think I'm just going to go with the seashells. There. I don't know what made me think that this would match. I mean, size-wise, that's huge. But that's just what happens. Now, I pulled this pearlescent glimmer, I guess. And then I saw this was where I cut something by, and I didn't use it. I actually think I like this better. So that is what we're going to use. We're going to die cut some of these. We're going to put these in the trash. And I die cut one blue one, and this is the back side of one of the designer series papers. So we're going to cut this. Remember, we're avid. We have everything. We need to use it up. I think that color's pretty with the pool party, that shimmer. So we'll put these little shells on there. They're certainly a better size than the big ones. Don't know. We'll slide that one under. We'll put a blue one. A dot is a lot. You don't need bunches of glue. And then our third one. Isn't that pretty? Those seashells. And we've got a little bit of sea glass left still. These are, I don't know if they're on the clearance rack still or if they've sold out. I have not checked lately. I have gotten my money's worth with these. I think they've been the most fun bling we've had in a while. This one and the pebbles, I liked them also. No, I think that one's going to have to go down here. Yeah, they're sea glass. Okay, that's our Avid card. So let's look again at, this is Avid, this is Casual, and this is Simple. Stamps, paper, ink, stamps, paper, ink, and a little bit of extra, and then a fancier fold, stamps, paper, ink, and bling. So you have all 3 levels with the same stamp set. Let me know if you enjoyed doing this. I'll try to do it, not all the time, but every once in a while we'll do a simple stepped up version and then the fancier version so you can see how that works. Thanks for joining me on this beautiful Monday, and I will see you Wednesday. Bye.